Up to speed. Two pictures on your screen. On the left-hand side of your screen, this is 157. This is what would be the tallest residential building in all of Manhattan. To the right of that building is a crane. It is dangling. It has collapsed. Case in point of the damage this storm could wreak here, and this is already just several hours before it makes landfall. On the right-hand side of your screen, these are pictures from Atlantic City, New Jersey. We just have been chatting with Ali Bell. She was standing in an intersection in Atlantic City, where, as he pointed out, Chad Myers pointed out, that city could be seeing record storm surge at 9.5 feet. Given all of this, I want to stay with New Jersey. I'm going to go to Newark Mayor Cory Booker, who's on the phone with me. And Mayor Booker, let's just begin with, we've been seeing these incredibly compelling pictures in Atlantic City. What does Newark look like right now?
Well, we're all going through it in the state of New Jersey. Obviously, the further north you get, the less around the eye. But we have very serious concerns because the storm surge is lining up with high tide in a full moon time set. So we have an intensity of water coming into our city that we anticipate getting worse and worse as the night goes on, especially around 8 p.m. We have areas in our city that do flood, and we're asking people to use this last hour or two before the storm surge really begins to get out, to voluntarily evacuate traditional flood areas in our city, to use precaution, and to not endanger rescue workers who may indeed have to rescue people who are either trapped in bad situations, or worse, what I saw a lot during Hurricane Irene, is people try to drive through flooded roads and get stranded and have to be evacuated by marine rescue.
You know,
Go ahead.
No, forgive me. Just it seems like other than just simply using common sense and not standing around and being an onlooker here, the other issue is, and the president pointed this out in the briefing, is they want people off the streets, because once this hits in the aftermath, these emergency personnel folks, they need to get out there. They need to start rescuing people, and if folks are out and about on the streets, right, that is bad news. And I know you're concerned. Number one, with citizens.
Yeah, the biggest risk right now is the bad choices being made by individuals, lack of common sense being used, and people not heeding the severity of what's going on and not being proactive in their thinking. The time to act to prevent a crisis from happening is before the storm happens. And after that, you should just hunker down and stay put. But clearly, you want people staying off the road, staying out of their cars, to let our teams do what they have to do to keep people safe.
Use common sense. Mayor Cory Booker, thank you very much for calling in. Good luck to you and writing this thing out. Want to stay with, I want to go to Manhattan here. We've been telling you the story of this partial crane collapse in the west side of Manhattan, West 57th, between 6th and 7th Streets. This is the live picture. I've got Chad Myers on my right. We've got Ashley Banfield in Lower Manhattan. Let's bring Ashley up. And Ashley, as we're looking at this picture here of this collapsed crane, how bad are the wind gusts right now where you are? As people jog by you, again.
I know, it's crazy. We're heading about, literal wind here with about 45 miles an hour right now. And not to sort of set you off a little, but all I can tell you is that
Ashley Banfield, can I get you to do me a favor and put that microphone closer to your mouth so I want to hear you?
Which is exactly my point. This wind is so strong. I can't believe you people are talking. Especially since where I'm standing is in an evacuation zone. We're fine, but all of the buildings that are around me, 400,000 people, are evacuated in 5 boroughs. So why these people have for national wonder and role is beyond comprehension. 1.1 million school kids are hunkered down somewhere and riding out this storm with their parents because there is nothing open at this point. One thing I want to tell you is just take a look at this water here. I'm at about 8 feet to 10 feet up. Okay, we're directly in the scenario. We're about
Ashley, I'm going to pull away. I apologize. I'm having a tough time hearing you. I think that is precisely your point, though, that the wind is that bad. I want to stay in Manhattan. I want to go to Deborah Farrick, because Deborah's there. Ashley was talking about people, hunkering down. But the thing in New York, it appears, Deb Farrick, is that not everyone is heeding those warnings to stay put.
Well, you know what, and there's a very good reason for that, and I'll tell you why. there are times where it just feels like a small drizzle is affecting you, but then at other times a huge gust of wind will come, and it's overwhelming, it's overpowering. I mean, we have a crane that we're looking at, and everybody's nervous. Every time one of those strong gusts of winds come our way, everybody's kind of looking up, because what you really have to be careful about are the tree branches, are things flying off of the roofs. The Hudson River, just over there across, and it's still very powerful. We see a couple of boats that are in the water. They're making their way up, but they look as if they're being anchored down. That's how slowly their progress is. You know, I spoke to somebody out in Long Island, however, situation there, very, very different. And that's what we're seeing with this storm. Right now, very calm. In other parts, no. Places that usually flood, they're getting hit. Spoke to somebody over in Bayville, Long Island. They're already in flood conditions. But for the most part here in Manhattan, people are kind of used to this. I mean, you look over here, Brooke, this is considered an evacuation zone. One block over, however, it's not an evacuation zone. So when we see some boarded up, some sand, people are kind of writing this up. But take a listen. We spoke to a couple of people a little earlier today. Take a listen.
We don't have it. We don't have it, Dad. Sorry about that.
Okay.
What'd they say?
You know what they're talking about? Yeah, well, what they basically said is, you know, look, one woman came out here, she said, look, it didn't feel bad. There's going to be a point where people are going to stay indoors, but New York City still has a pulse. People come out, they're sort of, you know, they're not being not smart, let's put it that way, but once they know that it's not too bad, they're coming out. But a lot of people are home right now. You've got children, they've got the day off from schools, the subways are closed, so nobody's getting anywhere. The buses aren't running. They've closed the Holland Tunnel, which is a block north. They've closed the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel, so you can't get to New Jersey that way, you can't get to Brooklyn that way.
That's right.
Things are periodically shutting down, Brooke.
That's right. Those tunnels are closed. They were closed as of about an hour and 20 minutes ago. Deborah Farrick, we'll come back to you. We appreciate you there in Manhattan. It's incredible how different one picture was in Manhattan from another, isn't it? We are also keeping our eye, and I know a lot of you are tweeting me about that crane. I'm at Brooke B. CNN. A lot of you are worried about the crane. We're worried about the crane. We'll keep a close eye on that. But we also want to take you to Delaware. It's really picking up in Delaware. We've got you covered here on CNN, all the way from North Carolina northward to Maine. Hurricane Sandy on her way.